I have to say, again, like I said yesterday, Spain are the most funniest team for me. And again, they showed that yesterday.
You're watching Golf News, kicking back, the chat show all about the game we love, and that, of course, is football. I'm Imran, and I'm joined by Matt, Shamsir, and Sahil. As ever, let's start with some news from Euro 2020 to bring you right up to date. Netherlands forward Memphis Depay will join Barcelona when his contract ends with Lyon at the end of this month. That's a good move for him. England striker Harry Kane says he's willing to be reunited with former Tottenham boss Mauricio Pochettino at PSG. I thought he was going to Man City. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. And former Germany coach Jurgen Klinsmann says he has called Tottenham's chairman Daniel Levy about the vacant manager's position and would absolutely take it. That'd be good to see Jurgen back in the Premier League, I think. Okay, to yesterday's action, starting off with Spain against Poland. Morata broke the deadlock before Lewandowski levelled for Poland, and then Spain missed a penalty, and it ended 1-1. But it was another lacklustre display from Spain. Really been disappointed with them. They've got to now beat Slovakia in the last game to progress to the last 16. Can they do it, guys? What do you think?
I still think they'll go through, but I don't think they'll go much further. But yeah. I mean, even a draw against Slovakia might be enough because 3 points could be enough to go through. But they're really just they've been the flop of the tournament for me so far. They've really just lacked any sort of that tiki-taka flair that got them 3 major trophies in a row. They just I could list every single player, but they just from back to front, they've just been really, really poor, and there's nothing memorable about their games at all, other than the fact that they're just been so bland. They're just not really providing any sparks. I mean, even your Hungarys, your Slovakias, Czech Republics, they're all scoring these wonder goals and having these magical moments. Spain, it's like, were they playing? Can't remember. They're just very, very, very forgettable.
Yeah, actually, yes. I agree with Matthew on that thing. They are very boring to watch, first of all. Like we have mentioned it many times, they'll have n number of possession. Like they had like 77% of possession, and they created around like 5 shots on target. They were playing in front of the Polish defense most of the time, and when they were struggling to move the ball quickly, they were very labored. They were sluggish. And whenever they moved the ball quicker and they created a chance, it was falling to Morata's. And how he took a good goal yesterday, but apart from that, he was anonymous throughout the game. But Moreno had a good game, but he was deployed in that David Villa kind of a role, which helped the Spanish team in the attack. It gave them a different dynamics, but not enough, man. Because I think the only way they can score a goal is by passing around, and so that the Polish defenders will fall asleep so that they can go and score, because it was that bad. The kind of position they're keeping it for no use, the sideways passing. I can go on and talk about the Spanish side, and it's absolutely lackluster from them. And it's going to be difficult for them to progress from the group itself, because if Poland wins against Sweden, and if Spain draw against Slovakia, they will finish 4th in the group. It's all to play for in the final game in this group. It's going to be fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I think if Poland win, then Spain need to beat Slovakia, because a draw will see them finish bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have to say, again, like I said yesterday, Spain are the most funniest team for me. And again, they showed that yesterday after Gerard Moreno hits the post, then Alvaro Morata has an open goal. But it's still somewhere else.
He loves missing goals.
He always does.
Sahil is still laughing.
I saw that yesterday, and I'm like, what? Come on, Gerard Moreno, at least, why didn't this penalty come in the Europa final against Manchester United? I'm just thinking that because I'm a Man United supporter, and he does it for Spain. And he missed the tap-in also, Gerard Moreno. So I got to say, he didn't play well at all. Yeah, maybe he assisted Morata, but he missed an excellent chance in the first half to make it 2-0. So, they have to feel guilty, and Spain were rubbish yesterday, I have to say, and they don't deserve to win. And it's
No, they don't. You're right. You're right, Sahil. I mean, in their first game against Sweden, they set all sorts of records for the most number of passes in the first half, most number of passes all together in a game, most possession. But in the end, it counts for nothing. In that first game, in fact, they could have lost. Sweden had two of the best chances. Yesterday, again, more of the same. I think Enrique's got to be a bit more direct now against Hungary. He's going to find it really hard against them. Sorry, not Hungary, against Slovakia. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game because now Slovakia know they're going to have to come at them, so they can just sit back, soak it all up, and probably hit them on the break. So this is it's been a disastrous campaign for Spain up to now. I mean, 2 draws, 2 points. They've still got a real slender chance. But anyway, let's move on to what has been.
We have to, Imran, we have to talk about that Lewandowski goal. That was absolutely brilliant. You know, he showed why he's a world-class striker.
Finally.
He absolutely bullied Laporta in the air. That was not, that
Laporta
chance.
was disappointing in the air. He went down so easy. I mean, Lewandowski gets up. He's got a hand on him, but that's
he was hoping for a foul.
Well, Laporta just goes down like a pack of cards. I was surprised by how brittle he was in that challenge.
If it falls to any other striker, it's not even a chance. So you have to give credit to Robert Lewandowski. He's a world-class striker.
He could have won him the game. He could have won the game for them. You know, he missed a very good chance. He was denied brilliantly by the Spanish goalkeeper. So could have gone Poland's way.
Could have done. Absolutely could have done.
The other thing is very quickly that what might play really into Slovakia's hands is they are very similar in style to Poland and Sweden. So they'll have watched exactly how they played against Spain and they'll do exactly the same thing. And they'll just soak up and say, guys, have all the possession you want. We'll just have our 2 lines of 4. And you can just run the clock down and knowing that we want to.
Slovakia will be happy to give them 100%.
We'll take the point. Yep.
We'll see if they can break them down. That'll be very interesting. Obviously, if they lose, they're out. They draw, they could be out. Just a win for Spain is going to be needed there. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to what was yesterday the shock of the tournament so far. Antoine Griezmann rescued a point for France in the end against Hungary, who had taken the lead, and had they held on, would have been a massive result. Fiola took the lead right for Hungary, right on half-time, with a lovely finish. But then before Griezmann levelled with, I think, 25 minutes to go to make it 1-1. France did dominate the game. Mbappe had several chances to score. Benzema missed a sitter. They looked a threat, but what a story it would have been if Hungary could have just held on and got a win. But even a draw is a shock result, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great result for Hungary. I mean, I think after their heartbreak against Poland, they really deserve to get something, and they could maybe be coming away feeling a bit hard done by they didn't get 3 points, because they more than held their own throughout that game. Yeah, there were some great saves and some great blocks, and the other side of the coin is that they created so many of their own chances. Varane and Pavard looked very weak at the back, and they could easily have had more than a 1-0 lead when France equalised. It also shows you, I mean, there's been criticism of lack of social distancing in Budapest with there being 65,000 people inside that stadium. But it really shows you that extra man and those passionate fans really can make a difference. And they really have helped Hungary raise their game in what is an impossible group.
Yeah.
It was incredible to watch. We all love this underdog story, right? We all love it. And the kind of warriorship. They were all warriors on the pitch yesterday. They were fighting for that point. I was worried a bit about them because they could actually run out of gas in the last 20 minutes, but they held on to that, which was good. They held on to that point. But coming to the goal that they scored, Fiola, the goal came from Kante was getting pressed. And Kante, the ball they got the ball from Kante, and they, that's a rarity in itself.
Whoa! Was that a criticism of Kante? Was that a criticism of Kante from Chelsea?
It's not at all a criticism of Kante. The thing is that the Hungary players had a flaw in them. They wanted Kante to drive towards them, so that they can nick the ball from Kante. They can nick the ball from Kante. It's the opposite. And they nicked the ball from Kante, and they counterattacked through that right-hand side where Pavard was absolutely horrible. the game forward was absolutely horrible, and they utilized that space, and Fiola with all the composure, and he finished that. It was absolutely brilliant with the pressure that.
Shamsir, you've put yourself on mute.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, carry on, man.
Oh, must have. He's left.
I think he's gone.
Yeah, so,
He loves your take.
I got to give it to Hungary, credit to them. They were just, I'm just so happy for them, I don't support Hungary or anything, but I'm so happy, they got a draw against the world champions, and they should be so proud of themselves against all their fans, in front of all their fans, It must be such a great feeling. And, chances everywhere for France, but you got to take them. Hungary got one good chance, and that was a good finish. That's not an easy finish on Lloris's near post. So, I've got to get full credit. And as Shamsir had mentioned, like, when N'Golo Conte gets dispossessed, look at the counter-attack. There's no one there. Like, if N'Golo Conte is not there, it's a huge problem for France. Like Pavard was exposed. Varane didn't have the best of his games. So, credit to Hungary, and well played to them. Really, I'm just very happy for them.
I think we can safely say Hungary were hungrier than France yesterday.
Surely.
I was going to say earlier about Moreno putting in the moron, but I avoided the bad pun. But that's gone in the bin now. I think Shamsir had to go for a lie down after criticising N'Golo Kante.
I think his brain couldn't commute what he just said.
Yeah, it's gone into shock. France after all our praise of them not being getting out of second gear and then bullying that German team, it was just flip side. I don't know whether they were overawed and being in front of fans for the first time in a long time and being in that sort of a cauldron. They just didn't start playing. They were just really poor, and Hungary didn't give them a time to settle on one ball. They just chased everything. They really exploited that channel on the left where France were weakest, and more than earned that point. They're really, really, really impressed with them yesterday, and I always do like it when the underdogs punch above their weight. Give these big boys a lesson.
Imran, I had a question for you. Imran, I had to ask you something. So, do you think Karim Benzema has made a difference? He's played the 2 games against Germany and now in Hungary. Has he done enough to earn a spot? Or do you think Olivier Giroud should come back in the starting 11? What's your input?
You know what, Sahil? I don't think he has. It's a good question because he was brought into that squad late on. They brought him back from retirement from the international team after 6-7 years, I think it was. And we all thought, he'll do what he does, score lots of goals and be a threat. But yesterday, when he missed that chance yesterday, how do you miss from there? It's an open goal almost, and he's put it wide. And I don't think he has made a difference. I think he's actually blunted their attack a little bit. He just doesn't look like he's that sharp at the moment. So I think, they've given him the first 2 games. I think Giroud might start in their 3rd game. I don't think he'll start. Yeah, I think he may be more effective coming off the bench late on in games to try and affect an outcome. But no, I don't think he has had an effect on them. Do you think he has?
I was just going to say that I think that he definitely earned his place. The way that he's led the line for Real Madrid the past 2 years now, he's definitely earned his place in that team. But yeah, it's only been 2 games. And similarly, Giroud has been doing nothing at club level. So he definitely deserved that start. But we all know how well Giroud plays for France. It's kind of like a Pogba situation. He doesn't perform for the club, but he always raises his game for the France team. And so it's a kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for France. But yeah, I really do think that they should go with Giroud for the start. I couldn't believe myself saying that a week ago, but now having seen Benzema's inability to really thrive on that main stage, I think maybe they should give Giroud an opportunity.
I think the pressure is getting the better of Benzema. This is what I think. He's playing after a while. There is some pressure on him. Huge pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's playing with that freedom that he normally does. He looks like he's second-guessing everything that he does on the ball. So,
Shamsir is back.
Shamsir is back. Welcome back, Shamsir.
Yeah. So you guys are talking about Olivier Giroud and his presence, right? My goodness. I've been calling for this. He should be starting ahead of Benzema for France, because the style suits him more than Benzema. He can hold the ball better than Benzema. Benzema is a great striker. He's one of the world-class strikers out there. But, for this particular team, Giroud suits better. And the system that Deschamps deploys, Giroud suits better, because he can bring the ball down and pass it towards Mbappe's and Griezmann's and all their attack in the World Cup. We have seen how it came through Giroud. He didn't score or assisted, but he was instrumental in that World Cup win for France. And if he comes back to the squad, it's going to do a world of good for the France squad.
Yeah. Okay. Both sides play their final games on Wednesday. Hungary are going to play Germany, and France against Portugal. I mean, that group is wide open. It's anyone's. Let's move on, though. Let's move on to Germany, who many people wrote off before the tournament had even started because of their aging squad. We know that Joachim Löw's leaving after the tournament, and they've had a pretty toothless attack. But they ripped Portugal apart yesterday with a very impressive attacking display. They won 4-2, but Ronaldo put Portugal ahead. But then 2 own goals turned the match in Germany's favour before Havertz tapped in the third and Gosens got the fourth. Jota pulled one back for Portugal. But it clearly looked like Germany found their rhythm yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, I think all 4 of us are eating a bit of humble pie, because we were all pretty confident that Portugal might do a job on them. But it was like they'd had some sort of a time machine and they'd gone back 6 years. They just decided to go, we know how to play again after that lackluster first game against France. And to do it against Portugal, of all people, you would think maybe if that was Hungary or a lesser team, you would be going, yeah, okay, but it's only so-and-so. But it would have been Portugal and all their young attack-minded flair players, and Germany being these old fuddy-duddies, so to speak, and stuck in their ways type players. It was eye-opening, and it was very, very good to see that they still got it in them. Was that their final? We don't know. We'll soon find out in the next match against Hungary, because Hungary will be well up for that one, as we know, because Alwen will take them through. They are going to, but Germany just like, it's good. The one concern I would have is they conceded another 2 goals. And that's a bit of a worry with that creaking defence. On another day, if they didn't have those 2 own goals in their favour, that would have been that result might have been quite different again. But they definitely bossed it, and they definitely turned it on, and I was very happy with that. 4 good goals, like I say, 2 fortunate ones with the own goals, but but the pressure told, and they actually definitely earned that victory.
Yeah, Matty, but I called for a German win yesterday.
Oh, sorry. Okay, then.
So I don't need to take a humble pie. And
instead, well done.
It was a brilliant performance from the Germans, but they're still suspect in defense. But you just write them off at your own peril. They're absolutely brilliant to watch when they are in full flurry. The first goal, when Portugal scored, I thought it's going to be the same old story for the Germans, because they played so well until that time. Then the Portuguese counterattacked at its. That was one of the best counterattacking goals that I have seen. From the corner, Ronaldo cleared the ball using his head, and then he made like 60-70 yards run. And Bernardo Silva picked up Jota's run, and Jota just passed into Ronaldo and finished it. And in style, it was brilliant counterattacking football. But that's what Portugal is all about, counterattack, because they're a pragmatic team. You can see 2 defensive midfielders sitting in there, and they conceded like 4 goals. That was incredible to see. But that is what Portugal is all about. They have all this plethora of attacking talents in their squad, but they're not using it properly. They're just sitting back, absorbing the pressure, and then counterattacking. This won't work. It worked for them in the Euro 2016, but I don't think it'll work in this Euros, because the teams are more technical these days, and it's going to be difficult for them to progress into the tournament. They might progress into the round of 16, but it'll be very difficult for them to progress further, because the teams, even in the Premier League, teams are finding it easy to break down the defense with 10-man block. So all the credit should go to the Germans. They were passing around brilliantly. They are still missing a defensive midfielder. That first goal wouldn't have been happening if they had a defensive midfielder. If Kimmich was playing in the defensive midfield role, that first goal wouldn't have happened. But then you have to talk about a certain Kai Havertz, man. He was absolutely brilliant. You know, what a generational player he is. He scored in the Champions League final like 3 weeks ago. He has got that eye for a pass. He can link up play well. He has got the awareness. He has got the instincts in the box. You know, his first touch is generational. He is a brilliant player, you know, and his movement in the box, the first goal, that the equalizer German scored, it came with the movement from Kai Havertz. He was absolutely brilliant. He was more sharper than Ruben Diaz. What a sensational player he is. And like what you mentioned, Billy Gilmour for Scotland, this guy would be the one to stay for another decade or so for the German squad.
Sahil, we finally saw the Germans, huh? It was good.
Yeah, I mean, full credit to them. I had predicted yesterday a 2-2 draw. If those 2 own goals didn't come, it would have been 2-2. So I was almost there. But again,
that own goal, Sahil, the own goals, they can't do anything. I can't blame the defenders for that own goal. It was, if that was not an own goal, somebody would have would have put it in the back of the net.
You're right. But then you mentioned just now, what's the use of having Danilo and William Carvalho if you're going to get the Germans players in those positions? What's the use? Then start Renato Sanchez then if you're going to concede goals like this. Come on. And again, I'm saying they're missing João Cancelo way too much. Nelson Semedo had a terrible game yesterday, I have to say. He was poor. And, you know, I have to give credit to Kai Havertz. He was literally just, his passes, his touches were just smooth. And Robin Gosens got the man of the match, you know, deservedly. He scored the 4th goal. He was running around. And Portugal they were lacking flair. The poor goals conceded. You know, they've got a world-class defense, I thought. Pepe, Ruben Diaz, who had an outstanding season, and still 4 goals at the back, which is a bit shocking for me. So
Ruben Diaz always, Sahil, Ruben Diaz always struggled when he plays against a Chelsea player.
I have to agree on that, Shamsher. You're right, absolutely. But still, it's just, I mean, Portugal are the favorites for me, like I mentioned. So, I mean, but the Germans, you all say the Germans find their way. You know, they somehow find their way to score goals, and they just thrashed Portugal. It was not it was a one-sided game. And yeah, that's all. Just Portugal were poor yesterday. That's all. They were
poor. They were poor. But Ronaldo, I think I don't think he cares. He got his 107th goal yesterday. He's just too shy now of Ali Day's all-time international record. I think he may need 2 more games to break that record, and I don't think it's going to happen in this tournament. I think Portugal could be eliminated because now we just can't write Hungary off. We've seen how good they are.
Yeah, you're bang on there. And like I said, we said it was going to be a group of death, but we didn't think that there was going to be 4 teams really going to be fighting for possibly top spot there. Hungary can still top that group, which is a bit insane. The big thing that's that for me is we talked about 3 teams in this group that could be potential champions, but now there's only 3 teams in the entire tournament that have got maximum points after 2 games, and it's none of those guys. We all talked about they could take points off each other, but we weren't really factoring in the fact that Hungary would be taking points off them as well. You know, like Italy, Belgium, and Netherlands are the only teams with maximum points. I think one of the big boys are going to go out, and Hungary are going to squeeze at the 3rd spot in that group.
With that draw against France, you know, that the whole dynamics of the group has changed. The France versus Portugal game has become a very important game now. Like Portugal can't afford to even draw that game, you know. So I don't know. I'm not the one for predicting anything from this group. I don't want to do anything, any sort of prediction.
Scary groups, really scaring us. All right, let's move on to today's games then. Look, Italy's playing against Wales. We've mentioned Italy have won their first 2 games. They look really good. They're the only team that really excites me. They've won the first 2 games 3-0. And I think they're going to repeat that score. I think they'll be too good for Wales. I'm going 3-0 Italy.
Yeah, I'd be fairly confident. The one thing I'll probably see is they might rest a few guys, knowing that they've got that spot in the last 16. Obviously, they would need to try and factor in if top spot is actually favourable, because a lot of these other groups are going to go either way, and you might actually get a easier team by finishing second. So I think they might give a couple of their key players a rest just to maybe try and avoid injuries, because they know that Wales will put in some meaty challenges. I think that Wales did well in the last game, but I think that Italy are just the team of the tournament so far, and they'll just they'll do their cohesive thing and just play them off the park.
This is a chance for the world to see the bench strength of the Italians. I think they will rest some of the players, some of the top players they'll rest, but then the guys who are going to come in, going to show the world that they are equally good enough. I think it's going to be another good performance from the Italian side, because they're in rhythm. You can change the personnels, but the rhythm is there. They're playing as a team, so that the cohesion is there. So you can bring in Chiesa for Berardi. He'll still do the same thing. You can bring Belotti instead of Immobile. He'll do the same thing. You can bring Verratti instead of Locatelli. He'll do the same thing. So it's that kind of a performance from they're a team to watch in the tournament. I think it's going to be easy for them. I think they'll win by like 2 or 3 goals.
I gotta go. Come on, Wales. They gotta win 2-1. Gareth Bale to score 2 goals. I'm gonna go for Wales. Come on.
Nice one. Let's see how that goes. Now, there's only another game. There's only 2 games today. So the other one, Switzerland against Turkey. I've been really disappointed with Turkey. I expected a lot more from them. I thought Yilmaz, coming off of the season he had with Lille, I thought they were good enough to beat Wales. They should have done. I thought they should have they've lost their 2 games. And I think they're headed for another defeat. They're going to finish bottom of this group. I'm going with a 2-1 Switzerland win. What do you think?
Yeah, well, as you said, Turkey have been very disappointing. I've got a feeling that even a win might not be enough to see them through. They've got 0 points from the first 2 games, and the way that the other groups are looking, 3 points might not be enough to get one of those best third place spots. So
and their goal difference,
they could be out.
Yeah,
-5
is terrible. Yeah.
So I mean, even if Italy put 6 past Wales, it's immaterial, because Wales have already got 4 points. So that goal difference doesn't even become a factor. All they can do is try and put 2 or 3 past Switzerland, and I think we all know that's not going to happen. So I think that they're effectively out already, and Switzerland will know that, and they'll end up coming away with a 1-0 win.
Yeah, for me, I think that Turkish win today, all the other teams in the groups will be hoping for a Turkish win, because then they'll finish 3rd in that group and will get eliminated for sure. The other teams can go through. So all the other teams will be like hoping for a Turkish win tonight. But I still think, it's going to be, I have
Seems
a feeling.
Like Scotland.
I have a feeling that there's going to be a draw, and Turkey will get a point at least.
I gotta say it's going to be 1-1, like a draw, like how Shamsher said. I think it's going to be 1-1. So I want Turkey to win, but looking at them, it doesn't look like how they've played these 2 games.
But Swiss with a win can have a chance to go to the round of 16. So it's going to be a good game to watch.
It'll be interesting for sure. We'll see how they all get on today. Okay, that's enough for us. Thanks for watching, and thanks for my guests. Head to golfnews.com for all the latest Euro 2020 news, and we'll catch up again tomorrow.